I'm Rob, and today we're at the Blue Bell in Emsworth. Blue Bell, it's a fairly modern pub. It was built in 1960 and it replaces the brewery tap and earlier Blue Bell, which stood just the other side of this entrance. It was demolished because there was a builder's yard where the car park is, and as lorries got bigger they needed to turn in, so in 1960 this one was built here. So the Christmas decoration's still up into 2022, and this place next door's gone well overboard, but I'm gonna look nice. What was it? JJ's. Very nice. Anyway, we start our walk crossing the road over by Dolphin Cottage now, and we're going to walk to the seafront, and because the tide is right for us we're going to turn left onto the foreshore. If the tide isn't right, you can just walk up this road and join the walk a little further along. Interesting eateries here in the town. So at the bottom of South Street we're going to walk along the beach. Now there used to be over 30 pubs in Emsworth once upon a time, but by the 1970s there were 9 in just this area alone. We're down to about 7 now, but still plenty of places for a drink or to eat. Anyway, onwards before the tide comes in and swamps us. As you can see, the tide comes right in up against this wall, so do be careful with the tides. If it's coming in and you can see it coming in, then don't do it. Just walk up South Street to meet King Street later on. But if you get tide right, you get to have a nice walk on the beach. Kids can pick around looking for crabs. Very nice. So there's a little sign and a bench that you can sit on any state of the tide, because you can come down these steps. It mentions oysters, and that was one of the main industries in Emsworth in years gone by, the others being shipbuilding and rope making. But in 1902 that oyster industry, it collapsed spectacularly. They supplied oysters for the mayoral banquets at Winchester and Southampton, and unfortunately many of the esteemed guests fell ill and 4 of them died. It turns out the oysters were contaminated with raw sewage that had been pumped out into or released into the harbour. This is Chichester Harbour, by the way. The last oyster boat was the Terror, and that was refitted, and it now takes passengers out on pleasure cruises around the harbour. We come off of the beach at the far end onto the slipway. Be very, very careful, because slipways with green weed on are notoriously slippery, as both Trev and I can tell you. At the top of the slipway is some 1970s houses, and we turn left and follow this road along. We carry on round to the left into the conservation area. This is John Lewis House. Looks like it's converted from an old warehouse, judging by the pulley over the top floor window. Interestingly, I was speaking to a couple just a minute ago, and it's very interesting. This building is actually a prefab, and it was built in a day. Whether that was sort of Georgian times or early Victorian times, not quite sure when. But yeah, the whole thing built in a day. We're in King Street, and King Street is named after John King, who was a shipbuilder, and the wood was dragged up where these houses are now and down to the boatyard. But anyway, we've got to turn right here through the gates of this lovely house. It's a lovely Georgian house, this one here, and apparently it was an old brewery. So we leave this lovely Georgian house, brewery behind, and we'll carry on walking down through onto this open ground. And we've got the mill pond on the right. Several mills in Emsworth at one time, mainly for grain that used to be put on the boats and taken down to Portsmouth and other places along the coast. At the end of the path you come out onto Queen Street and the old flour mill. And we're going to turn right down past the Lord Raglan pub. So National Fuel, I haven't seen one of those for many a long year. The whole garage has got a late 60s, early 70s theme. And clearly no fuel pumps there. So past the Lord Raglan. And literally just past the Lord Raglan, we follow the public footpath sign through the middle of these new builds. Come through the new builds out onto a path that leads us along the next mill pond. Now the same stroke of luck that allowed us to walk along the beach makes this not so scenic when the tide is out. It looks lovely when the tide is in. So we've got a sluice here that allows the water in and out of the mill pond. At this point we turn right. That's a slipper mill pond, by the way. And this is the old slipper mill, now converted into flats. So the path now takes us through Emsworth Yacht Harbour, and another chance to eat. There's the Deck restaurant through here. So it's working boatyard, so just steady as she goes through here. So these are very nice. I don't know if they're holiday lets or what, but they look over the marina and the water. Don't miss this right turn, you'll end up in the wrong place. Just keep the marina to your right. At the end of this basin, don't carry on through the boats there. You turn left to follow the footpath along this way. So don't miss the sign, because we're turning left again to go round the back of the boatyard. Apparently those are the Emsworth deck houses. They're like lodges on stilts, if you like. Still don't know whether they're holiday lets or permanent residents. So you can buy fresh fish from the fishing boat there. And you pass Tech Deck, keeping that to your right. Oh, I don't see many of these Cornish crabbers about. Not here anyway. And at Sue Foster Interiors, you turn right to pick up a gravel path that runs along the hedge. The path leads down between the houses. That brings us back to Slipper Mill, and we're going to turn right. This time with the mill pond to our left. At the top of Slipper Road, we come to what was the old A27, which we're going to cross probably at that island over there. walk up there to the right of the pond. Cross the road and we're going to follow the Sussex border path up alongside the pond. A very kind lady feeding the ducks. And there are lots of them. That's lovely flint knapped house. I always tell you in an area where there's chalk underlying, because flint only occurs where chalk is, so only occurs as a building material where chalk is. And there's a white egret. Close on your right called the Rookery, and this is where we leave the Sussex border path and we take the public footpath into the undergrowth on the left. It's the 5th of January and the young daffs are out. So a very pleasant little path, and we soon come out on a bridge over the river, and this is the River Ems. Now interestingly, the town wasn't named after the river, which is the usual case. The river was actually named after the town. And we continue to the left. And before you get to the main road at the end of the path, you turn right along this tarmac path. For nature lovers, on the right you've got the Brook Meadow Nature Reserve. I've just dipped in here off of our path, just in case you're interested in walking around, but we're going to go under the underpass back into the town. There's something wrong with this underpass, no graffiti. We've been under the underpass, big loop completed, but now we're going to turn right back into Queen Street. Lots of Georgian houses. This is Dolphin Hill. It's leading up Queen Street towards King Street. So coming up to the High Street. So the actor Albert Finney used to live down there. Other famous residents of Emsworth, past and present. Nicholas Lyndhurst, Denise Black, P.G. Woodhouse, and Peter Blake. And now we're going to head to the left down South Street, back to the pub, but we're going to pass the pub and carry on our walk. Memories of the old George Gale & Co. with the tiled front of the Coal Exchange. As you can see, bought out by Fuller's, and Gale's Brewery in Horndean is now a block of flats. Although they've done it very well, it still looks like a brewery. So as you can see, the tide is well in now, so you wouldn't really want to walk where we walked earlier. As it happens, we're not, we're turning right. And there's Trev facing up to the swan. See them legs, he'll have it. Probably make a nest in his legs. Looks like a bunch of twigs. Anyway, we're going to walk up here past this little tea room to go up the left hand side of the mill pond. Flintstone's obviously a very popular tea room. Well, that's an appropriate name. And the old boathouse is home to Zero West, British engineered watches. There's a theme going on here. I like the old channel markings there, the green for starboard going into a port and the red for port going into a port. We come off the bridge footpath, across the top of the mill pond, and we're going to turn left down Bath Road back towards the harbour. Now don't quote me if I'm wrong, but I think I read this road is called Bath Road because when the railway arrived it became a bit of a resort, and I believe there were some swimming baths here, but I could be wrong. Although we're thinking it might be a replica, thinking it could be fiberglass. But fiberglass or not, original or cheap copy on a Ford Sierra platform, it's still a nice looking car. Someone does not want to get his feet wet. So for anyone that wants to know, that's the start hut for the Emsworth Slipper Sailing Club when they do their racing. They'll be doing their racing out there when the tide's in, which it is now. So you really wouldn't want to walk along there now. You wouldn't want to get stranded halfway when it came in either. Apparently Emsworth built the largest sailing fishing boat called the Echo, 110 feet long. And so we're back at the bottom of South Street. We're going to walk back up to the Blue Bell and go for a nice warm drink. Don't be fooled by the blue skies, it's freezing today, about 3 or 4 degrees. So that's a nice little town or waterside walk. It's only about 3 miles, so good one for just about anybody to do. We're back at the Blue Bell, so we're going to go in and have a drink. But if you like the walk, then please like and subscribe, and maybe I'll see you on the next one. Till then, let's go and have a drink. So we got the coffees, latte and a double cappuccino. Mr. Ward's going to tuck into a bacon bath in a minute as well. And me. Pleasant little pub inside actually.
I think the last oyster boat was the Terror.
The last oyster boat was the Terror. Shut up! So the last Easter...
The last Easter
Go
boat...
up them steps and don't come back!
The last Easter boat was the Terror.
Shut up! Well, there's something wrong with this under. Shut up!